But I have to say, and this is being said in the context of this discussion, nothing happened at a political vacuum. And I would like here to acknowledge the presence of Yuval Harari, who influenced us significantly, both the Prime Minister and his cabinet and this minister, by an essay that he wrote on March 20th, if I'm not mistaken, 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic in the Financial Times. And it's funny that the title of that essay was The World After the Coronavirus, if I'm not mistaken, while the coronavirus was beginning. And what was the key tenet of that essay? That more or less, if we look at what happened in previous pandemics, and actually there's a very interesting book by Frank Snowden, Epidemics and Society, which showcases that every pandemic has a lasting influence because a series of policy decisions, or non-policy decisions, societal decisions, outcomes, stick after pandemics. What Yuval Harari wrote was that governments need to be very careful about the policy choices that they will make, especially in the digital policy, on the digital policy front. And he outlined two extremes. On the one hand, you have civic surveillance, and on the other hand, you have civic empowerment. And this was an essay very much studied, I have to say, by the Prime Minister, Mr. Kyriakos Mitsotakis, and by myself and my team. And we decided to follow the path of empowerment. That path is very vividly described in the series of policies deployed during that time, because it's, I think, symbolically significant that the launch of gov.gr, the government platform of Greece, coincided with the first lockdown of the pandemic. And when the virus hit, we also rendered this policy as an instrument to battle the virus, because we knew that as we're eliminating interactions, of course, this also helps for the purposes of battling COVID-19. But if you look even at policy-specific areas, policy examples that we followed which were pandemic-specific, and those of you who are Greek in this room are, of course, aware, because you used it, of the 5-digit SMS number, 13033, which effectively was an exercise in behavioral economics. In order to leave your premises, where you worked or where you lived, you had to send, instead of using paper, an SMS. No one read that SMS. No one had access to that data. It was an empowerment tool. You received an answer back, and on the basis of that SMS, you could use it, and if an officer or someone asked you where you were going, this was actually set by using a simple technology. There, the point was not the problematic, let's say, aspect of government surveillance, which Yuval Harari wrote on his essay. It was exactly the opposite. Instead of using a piece of paper, use a simple SMS number. And behavioral economics is the line of thinking, because this was a self-regulation exercise. You used that technology in a very simple manner in order to be able to exit your home. This is again a manifestation of a line of thinking, of a philosophy. And this is also a manifestation of the fact that technology is not neutral. It is neutral per se, but everything depends on how you use it and whether you place citizens at the core of the proposition. And this is what we have tried to do.
On the G20, you were there meeting some of the leaders as well. Professor Schwab, what do you make of the result? Finally, they put something as a statement, and it seems quite positive with all the voices included.
I think it's positive. It's already positive through the fact that everybody agreed about the statement, which we haven't had the last years. Now, the base has been formed, but we have to go one step further. We have to have a strategic mood. We have to construct the world of tomorrow. It's a systemic transformation of the world. So we have to define how the world should look like, which we want to come out of this transformation period. I respect China's achievements, which are tremendous over the last over 40 years. I think it's a role model for many countries, but I think also we should leave it to each country to make its own decision what system it wants to adopt. And I think we should be very careful in imposing systems. But the Chinese model is certainly a very attractive model for quite a number of countries.
Good morning, I'm Chen. Beijing is getting warm. I'm going to take a trip around the city, and most importantly, I want to show you something that you can only do it in China. Here I am at the Credit Reference Center of the People's Bank of China. So here I will print out my personal credit report. So this is it. This is a self-help machine. Every citizen in China, as long as you have your personal ID card with you, you can print out your personal credit report. It's coming up. There it is. So the report has 2 pages, and there we are. This is my personal credit report. It's my first time to see it. Trustworthy people should be given enough rewards, but for those who break trust should also pay for it. It brings me to another part of the government social credit system. Here I am at the Supreme People's Court in Beijing. Till February 2019, over 30 million people are named in a list of dishonest persons subject to enforcement by this court. They cannot go traveling by planes, they cannot go traveling by high-speed trains, they cannot go to luxury restaurants, and they can't get a golf courses. They are unable to get an insurance, and they can't even rent a house. If trust is broken in one place, restrictions are imposed everywhere. Actually, personal scoring system has been present in the West for decades. For example, eBay has a rating system for shipping times and communication. Uber passengers and drivers both rate each other. And many companies in the US are using FICO scores to determine many financial decisions. China's social credit system only expands that idea to all aspects of life.
See that green code up there? Yeah. It's a green QR code. That is called your safety code. Yeah. And when the safety code is green, when you have to show your code anywhere, entering a market, going to a bus, going to an airplane, going to another neighborhood, you have to scan in your code. If your code is yellow, that means you are restrained and you can only go in your neighborhood. They suspect you. If that code turns into red, you are practically jailed in your home. You are in prison. You can't go anywhere. And with that code, the second you scan that code in, everything will pop up on your phone, will pop up in government's computer. That is your health record, when your last time go doing testing. If you don't do tests for a few days, the code will turn yellow. And where did you go? They have all your life, entire set of data. The government has all the data. It's all done automatically. It's all done with machine, with all the AI technology. So the government can even reduce its police forces. It's all AI now. So with that code, you control your life. So how about if I go out, I lost my phone. So if you lost your phone, you'll not be able to go home. And you have to go through enormous trouble to get yourself another phone, another code. And it's now, I am not joking, but it's a real proposal today to inject some chips